Hi, it's the M.L.M for the Soul Channel. I do have a new topic for today. Before I begin, I just would like to say, may the words and expressions of my mouth and the thoughts and meditations of my heart, excuse me, find favor and acceptance before you, Hashem, and some people I thank who inspired me. I hope they can inspire you as well. And I will have links below this video. They are Rabbi Shalom Arush, Rabbi Lazer Brody, Rabbi Yosef Mizrahi, Rabbi Alon Anava, Rabbi Alon Anava, Rabbi Ovadia, Rabbi Daniel Asser, Nisan Baruch Black, David Sachs, Rabbi Michael Skobach, Jews for Judaism, Rabbi David Asher, Rabbi Yaron Ruvain, and Rabbi Yosef Chesney. As well, if you never checked out this channel before, I will have a link below to my first video, which explains what M.L.M for the Soul means, what it stands for, and what I'm doing. So this video is the last video before the new year, Rosh Hashanah. So I have something to share from Rabbi Eli Mansour relating to that, and also some of my own as well. So this video will be a little longer, and I'm going to post this on a different day earlier than I usually do, which is mostly Shabbos, because Rosh Hashanah starts BeEzrat Hashem the following evening, unless Mashiach comes from here. I hope he does. So then we will all be together in Eretz Yisrael, BeEzrat Hashem. So this is from Rabbi Eli Mansour about I call this separation, and separation also means Havdalah. Says here, Rabbi Yochanan states in the Gemara, Pesachim 113, that there are three categories of people that merit the world to come. One who lives in Eretz Yisrael, one who raises his children to learn Torah, and one who makes Havdalah on wine and Motzei Shabbos. The book Shulchan Esseh, I think it's, or Eish maybe, I can't figure out what exactly it is, and I don't know who wrote it. So suggests that these three merits have a common denominator. They all require Havdalah, separation. That which we say in Havdalah, Hamavdil ben Kodesh L'chol, separating between sacred and profane, is the general distinction that is expressed, in three ways, alluded to in the continuation of the text of Havdalah. First, Bein Or LaChoshech, which means between light and dark, corresponds to raising children in the light of the Torah, as opposed to secular wisdom, which is considered darkness. Bein Yisrael LaAmim refers to the value of living in the land of Israel, which is the geographic separation between the holiness of Eretz Yisrael and the rest of the world. Finally, Ben Yom Hashvi L'Sheish Yemei HaMaseh connotes one who makes Havdalah on Motzei Shabbos. Thus, all three types of people merit the world to come because they are engaged in some form of Havdalah. The Ben Ish Chai, Rabbi Yosef Chaim of Baghdad, teaches that this quality of separating ourselves from the way of the non-Jews is the key to the judgment of the approaching Yamim Noraim, the high holidays. Hashem judges us relative to the degree of our separation. This idea is illustrated in the Yom Kippur Avodah, which means service, in the Beit HaMikdash, in which two goats were brought. One was offered to Hashem, was offering to Hashem, and the other was cast to Azazel. The Zohar HaKadosh states that the goat to Hashem represents Yaakov Avinu, whereas the goat to Azazel represents Esav. This corresponds to the relative judgment where the Jewish people ascend the Mizbeach, the altar, and the non-Jews are cast to Azazel. This is the meaning of the pasuk in Koheles, and I found this is so clever. Again, there's so many hidden things in the Torah that are just amazing. They blow my mind. So it says, Zeh lu'umat zeh aseh Elokim. Elokim refers to Hashem's judgment, which stands one against the other. That's what it means, that they stand against each other. The Jewish people against the nations of the world. Rab Moshe Leib of Sasov pointed out that this is alluded to in the Hebrew text of the pasuk, which forms the acronym Azazel from those words. Zeh lu'umat zeh aseh Elokim. Amazing. This gives us an opportunity to succeed on these days. The more degenerate the backdrop of society is, the more the Jewish people shine and find favor in Hashem's eyes, on the condition, very important, that they diligently engage in Havdalah, separating themselves from the way of the non-Jews. That's so key, and I'm going to share something else, and also a website. So there's an organization that I discovered somehow online, I don't know how, but from some other resource, that offers free Jewish books, and I'll include a link to their website. Wonderful. And you can get a free book every couple months. You have to register on their website. And I've been doing it, now for maybe 3 years. And at first it was every 3 months. Now they just changed it every 2 months. So it's wonderful. So they have all different types of books. I've gotten Kabbalah books from Ari Kaplan. I even got an Art Scroll pocket sitter. I got a whole bunch of other books. I can't remember all of them. And then now, because the holidays are coming up, the high holidays, I got a book on Rosh Hashanah, and this was written by, I think it was, let's see, it's a bunch of different authors. I think it's Rabbi Nussin Sherman, and Rabbi Meir Zlotowitz Zatzal. He's no longer with us. We're the editors. And it's Rosh Hashanah. It's Significance, Laws, and Prayer. So this is what the book looks like. And this I got from the Free Jewish Books website that I'll include. So there was something here very interesting. I didn't quite get to most of the book. There's so much to read, and I still have my other book from them. So this talks about man makes the difference. And I'm just going to kind of do the overview. It's a couple pages. I don't want to read it all. But it talks about how in Noah's time, all humanity became morally and ethically corrupt. And it spread to all different things, thievery, violence, other perversions, unfortunately. And then it says that these effects were not limited to man. And Hashem saw in Bereshit 6:12 that the earth also was corrupted. So they were saying that the land, although it's a lifeless land, it's not affected by behavior. But Sforno says that the morality of adults corrupts the children, so it leads to other things. Now the Zohar, however, interprets the verse literally, says that the earth was corrupted, that is, man constitutes the essence of the earth, so that his corruption infects the earth itself. The earth which failed to please Hashem by raising up for him righteous children was ashamed like a faithless wife who hides her face from her husband. So this brought about, not only perversions in humans, but also in animals and also into the vegetable kingdom. So that's the sad part of it. So that's why it actually relates to about Havdalah, that when we separate ourselves. So, and then the last paragraph that I want to read from here, which is really the key of what I wanted to share from this. So it says the Torah seldom tells us, and this section is actually from Rabbi Nussin Sherman on, it's called just an overview of different areas. So he says, so the Torah seldom tells us so vividly how man's failure has cosmic repercussions. Like many chapters in the Torah, this one teaches a phenomenon that is a permanent part of creation, meaning what I just was telling about the perversion that happens, that goes down into the animal and vegetable kingdom. The law that human actions affect everything in the universe, a law as binding as any law of physics, having been told of its existence, we are expected to apply it to all future experience. Meaning, sorry about that fast again, everything we does affects everything in the world, and also even more so in the upper worlds, in the Olam Ha'emet, the world of truth. So this is really key. So that's why now is when we have to start making changes. Now the thing is, Hashem wants us to try, make an effort. They say, you don't have to succeed. Hashem makes the successful part of it. But the thing is when we do something or don't do something that we're supposed to, like for example, modesty. A lot of people don't want to talk about it. It's like almost like taboo. Like a lot of people, it seems like you tell them and they get like upset. Like I've had people too that don't want to have anything to do with me anymore, and that's fine. But we have to share the truth, the emes of the Torah. It says it there. I'm not making it up. And it's weird because people like to say, like I've had people emailing me, says, oh, I respect your beliefs. The word your, it's not mine. It's Hashem's. But people always say your because you're doing it. But no, it's what the Torah says. That's what I'm following. And like with modesty, people do only take parts of it and do it. And we can't do that. We're changing the Torah. Hashem said we have to be modest. A woman must be modest, a man as well. But for a woman, it's a more critical issue. And if we don't do it, what people don't understand is why is the world in such a moral degradation? Think about it. We're the light to the nations, Or Lagayim. So the fact that we're not doing it completely properly, if BeEzrat Hashem, every single woman of the Jewish nation, and it's unfortunate some don't even know they're Jewish because they're not brought up Jewish, or their father, their mother's Jewish but their father's not, and then they don't keep things, whatever. The whole world would change because that's how it is. We are the ones that are creating that effect of change. By us, whatever we do, the world is copying. So if we, as supposed to be the Nashim, the modest, like they were back in the times of Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah, that's all that they were talking about. They were always very modest. That was their thing. So if we think about it, if we do something, it's a ripple effect. It'll change in the world because the world will see, and let's say like the way they're designing clothes, everything will change. The people will start realizing it'll just happen. It's because of what we do. We can't blame them although we don't like seeing it, those of us that are keeping things right, we don't like seeing the way they are dressing and acting, and it's all modesty is about a whole thing, dressing, acting, speaking. So it's very important, and women don't want to hear it. So many people, they just don't want to have anything to do with me, like, you cross the line, and nobody would tell me if they were my real friend, and I'm like, what? If they were your real friend, they'd tell you, because they're not going to be there for you in the next world. So I just want to share that this is very important. I don't want to go on and on, because I can go on and on, but I think it's very important that we all take a step, do something, show Hashem you mean business. Meaning, if you can't do it all at one time, like, okay, start cutting your hair if you're a married woman. I put things in my hair, but I'm not. I just do it for modesty. Also, something a little different. But if you're a married woman, you must cover your hair completely. You can't have hair sticking out. People like to cover their hair partly and then have hair hanging down, but you can't do that. And you can't have these long wigs that are down to the floor. They're just not. It's not acceptable. Your arms, your sleeves have to be past your elbows. Your skirt has to be past your knees. Way more past enough so that it doesn't ride up when you're sitting down. There's these just basic things. And the color, the style, there's so many things, but you could check out, some of the lectures online. There's one from Rabbi Alon Anava that I really love called The Power of Modesty. And if I think I have that link, I'll include it below as well. It's amazing. So it's not just talking about you must dress this way and that way. It's talking about how powerful it is for us as women, what we're doing by doing that. Because so many people in the younger generation are just, I'm just flabbergasted, and it's people even in my own relatives and relatives' children that are doing less and less, and they keep other things, but the modesty is not there. And Hashem should help that they will change, and I hope and pray that they do, and that we, each of us, do one more little thing now. Make our New Year's resolution. Now is the time to do it. Tell Hashem, okay, I'm going to start, covering my hair or wearing my skirt a little longer. Get used to that. And don't let the Yetzer Hara get in your way and say it's not fashionable or I look weird. Because that's what he's going to try to do. Because that's our antidote to him, to be modest. And more important, of course, inside your home, but outside your home for sure. Because you don't want to cause others to sin because of you and look at you. So, and I hope and pray that we'll all each of us take a step that we can improve ourselves, and that we'll all merit to live and see the coming of Mashiach speedily in our days, and the rebuilding of our final and everlasting Beit HaMikdash. Amen, and thanks for watching.